Hello everyone, welcome back. Stacy Kawunda. So today I'll be talking about the scripture that you just saw before. And the scripture I've known it for a very long time, and it played a big role in my life when I was young. I remember when I was 16 years old, they were making my mom's tombstone. I think I was 17. And they asked me, because I was like kind of the Christian girl in the house, they asked me what scripture would I want to put on the tombstone. And this scripture is the one that is actually currently on my mom's tombstone. And it says, "For me to live is Christ, and to die is gain." And this scripture was by Paul. Before I even get into it, okay, maybe let me get into it, and then I'll read the scripture. I want to read the whole verse. So since the start of lockdown, as a family, we've been in and out of fear. So sometimes we're so fearful. Oh no, what if we have it? Or what if we catch it? What if we die? Da, da, da. And then sometimes we're like, oh, if we get it, we're fine. We can deal with this. We're children of God. We know how to handle things. So we've been like in and out of this. So I remember March, the first week of the lockdown, our little one had flu. And we were like panicking. We're like, what if this is the flu? What if this is it? And we were scared. We would take care of ourselves, and we were like, you know what? We're putting ourselves in isolation. No one should come. We're not going anywhere. We can't go get food and everything. So we sat in the house for a while just to see. And it was just flu, by the way. And then as time went, few weeks, and then we're like, no, man, we got this. We're children of God. Fear is not our portion. Christ has us. And we started speaking word into our lives, And then there's another time where we were like, oh my word, my throat is itching. What if this is the flu? We get into the warm water, the lemon water, ginger, garlic, everything, that has to deal with flu. Because I had this fear that if I just get the flu, like even if it's normal flu, the thought of that will just cripple my life. I'll be so scared and terrified and thinking, what if this is COVID-19? So we've been on like a roller coaster, like, sometimes they're high, sometimes we're down, sometimes, it's been, and I believe it's been like that for most of us, where sometimes you find you're coping with the lockdown. It's, sometimes you're like, no, I'm not coping. I need to see my family. I need to speak to people. I need to socialize. I need to go to a restaurant. It's a roller coaster. And I remember these words when the lockdown started from our minister. He said, this is not a sprint, it's a marathon. And honestly, if I were to be honest with myself, for me, it started as a sprint. And as it was going and going, I saw that, this is not a sprint, it's a marathon. And the thing with starting as a sprint, somehow, when you realize that it's actually a marathon, you're tired already, because you started harsh, you started aggressive. You were like, I got this. I've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. I've got my child's homeschooling kit in place. You think you have this. I'm going to read the scripture, and like I said, it's by Paul. And it's Philippians chapter 1, verse 20 to, I'm going to read from verse 20 to 24. But the verse that I want to concentrate on is 21. But because I don't like to just take a verse out on its own, it's nice to read the surrounding verses also. It just gives more understanding. And this is by Paul. It says, I'm reading from NLT, New Living Translation. It says, "For I fully expect and hope that I will never be ashamed, but that I will continue to be bold for Christ, as I have been in the past. And I trust that my life will bring honor to Christ, whether I live or die. For to me, living means living for Christ, and dying is even better. But if I live, I can do more fruitful work for Christ. So I really don't know which is better. I am torn between two desires. I long to go and be with Christ, which would be far better for me. But for your sake, it is better that I continue to live." So this is Paul who wrote this. And when, things have changed. Honestly, things have changed. There's too much of a rush. We hear of like death almost every day, actually every day. And unfortunately, in a week, we hear of someone that we know. So it's the term that we use now is it's close. It's closer than it was before. Now it's in the family. Now it's in our circles. It's probably someone, or someone in your family has passed away. So things have changed. The feeling has changed. It's not easy anymore. And honestly, we had to also have an honest conversation with ourselves. I'm not saying we are dying. I'm not saying you are dying. But sometimes you need to have an honest conversation with yourself. That, like Paul says, for me to live is Christ. Like I told myself that as long as I still have this breath of life, as long as I still have this breath of life, I will still speak about God. I will testify. I will tell whoever I come across, or if I feel like encouraging someone with the word, I will still speak. For to me to live is Christ, and to die is gain. I'm not saying you're going to die. I'm not saying I'm going to die. Only Christ, only God knows. Actually, only God knows that. But what I'm saying is, as long as you're still alive, as long as you still have this breath of life, live for Christ. Tell others about God. Encourage someone. Send someone a message and say, I'm thinking about you. Ask someone, how can I pray for you? Talk to people. Find out how people are. Use your breath to testify. And if it happens that God calls you back home, then you know that you've done your part this side of Jordan. You know that you've done your part this side, I'm not here to scare anyone, but it's scary because we are faced with death every day. So we need to actually just hold on to Christ and look to Christ and hold on to Him, hold on to His word. And be encouraged by this. Live for Christ. So that when you die, you gain. So when you die is gain.